Guys, it's Jada. As usual, I have another podcast episode today. Today we're going to talk about surviving emotional abuse, which I think most of us have done in our lives. What is emotional abuse, though? Emotional abuse is trying to humiliate, isolate, or ignore someone. You're playing with their emotions, and it's really not talked about very often because it's any type of manipulation that deals with your emotions. Now, another term for it would be psychological abuse. Some of the examples would include name calling, blaming the other person, jealousy, extreme jealousy at that, being controlling, etc. You are usually criticized, and the abuser will literally shame or guilt trip you to control you emotionally. It happens to me a lot, being bipolar and having ADHD, because if I'm not on my medication, I usually have people hurt me. Well, it's usually easier for people to get inside my head because I'm already in my head. So you play with my emotions and, yeah. But when I was in active addiction, I had so-called friends that took advantage of me for my car. So they keep me on drugs, and I willingly just hand them my car keys because I let everybody drive my car, which was a no-no. But I didn't really know any better. Like I said, I wasn't on medication or anything like that. So because I wasn't, people took advantage. A lot of manipulation happens this way. Hurting somebody's feelings for personal gain is one of the things that could possibly happen. Gaslighting is another example of this. But if you feel crazy afterwards, it's probably not a good situation. Giving someone the silent treatment is another form of emotional manipulation. Healing is tremendously difficult. My best advice to give somebody self-care is to go on a hike, go on a walk, journal, exercise, do all this. But I wanted to tell you guys a personal story about how when I was younger, I was in a relationship where I've always been with these bad, horrible guys. And usually I always had something. As a female, I handled my business. So I always have a car. Might not have always had my own place, but I've usually had like a car or something. And a guy will use my vulnerability and take advantage of me for that reason. I started talking to people I trusted because 9 times out of 10 I'm learning if it doesn't sound right, you probably shouldn't be doing it in the first place. I always recommend that you listen to understand. Like sometimes you just listen and then you understand how to get out of it. But the best way to survive it is to understand that you need to set your boundaries. If you don't want to do something, you shouldn't have to do it. And if a person gets mad at you for not doing that, that person should not be around you. Simple. For example, if you ask me if you could spend the night at my house and I tell you no, I need my personal space tonight, and you're like, well, blah, 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 blah. No, you probably should not be in my life for that. And that's okay. Not saying that anything does that. Any type of positive coping skill can actually help with this. Like, right now I am been through a lot in the last couple months, and I'm doing something that a lot of people don't get a chance to do in their 20s, or that I think everybody should, and that's taking the time to actually just get yourself together. Because I just chose to recently, a series of unfortunate events happened, and I'm choosing to just give myself as much time as I need because I deserve that much. And I still have friends in a support system, but I'm learning to be okay with myself because that's the only thing that's going to help me get through. Like, having a life of abuse and neglect and abandonment, you learn that emotional abuse can be detrimental because it affects your psychological. And it's like, even something simple as lying. Like, why are you playing with my emotions? Can you take accountability for what you're doing? Emotional outbursts, yelling, and not being able to communicate properly. Those are all forms of psychological abuse, if you didn't know. Now, I suggest, because it's really hard to deal with people sometimes, I really suggest that you take time for yourself. Now, you can't, when you get strong enough where you just know you can do things on your own and you don't need anybody to depend on, and you gain a sense of independence. When you gain that sense of independence, you typically have, you're harder to take advantage of. You know what you can tolerate and what you can, and you know how to walk away. So if you can, just honestly, just take some time out for yourself. And yeah, that's all I got on this topic for right now. Hasta luego. And yeah. If you guys have any questions, shoot me an email. The first 10 emails I get, I do have a special gift for you guys. My email is recoveryourselfpodcast@gmail.com. If you have any inquiries, please just send me an email. And also, I am available to talk to people if you need be. Just shoot me an email and I'll be able to help you. You guys have a great day.